Eventually, I want to do those cool, like a quick, short, like 10-second countdown video. So it's not just boom, we're live. It's like, all right, let's do the countdown.
You got to do the lead up and get everybody intrigued.
Let's do the countdown. Do 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 do. Right? That'd be fun. That'd be fun. Or just have some like.
I think you should just do that every week.
No, we should have like multiple ones, and one of them's like a 90s trailer. Ladies and gentlemen, in a world. Like we should have a bunch of variations, and you just never know what you're gonna get.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Let's get ready to rumble. How's that?
We can do one where we're all humming the Jeopardy song. You know, the little theme at the final.
Right, see, I want like a version of all these, and we just do different ones every week.
Let's pull a slot machine. Right, it's like the random button. Which one do we get?
Yep. Maybe we'll have people vote. Like we do a couple different ones for like a whole month, because that'd be 8 different ones for an entire month, and then we have people vote on like what's next month's one or something. It'd be fun. Well, let's get started. Already a minute behind. Thanks, Chris. No, I'm just kidding.
That's not me.
It's me. It's not you. It's me. Trust me. I know me. It's me. Good morning, everyone. Real estate agents, team leaders, team members, brokerage owners, coaches, or otherwise curious people. Today, we're going to take a look at the buyer and listing appointment contest. I'm going to just quickly establish the criteria. We all said we're going to do it, and we talked about it, and then we didn't really put a goal of how we're going to implement it and how we're going to kind of enforce it. We also didn't go over the criteria thoroughly. So we're going to knock that out and get that done so that we can bring it up in the team meeting today and be like, hey, psych, we're actually officially starting now. But, we can talk about whether we count what they've already done and, do all that. Because I know we didn't really put it out there. We said it once, and then that was about it. So we're going to work on that today. We're also going to just plan the team meeting together because there's a few important topics I know that we need to go over. Yeah, that's pretty much what we're going to focus on today. Hopefully it brings everybody some value. And for everyone who is tuning in from whatever platform you're viewing from right now, would you do us a huge favor and just like hit subscribe or follow or, whatever's closest to you. Didn't YouTube get rid of the dislike button? I heard, right? Didn't that happen? Didn't they get rid of the dislike button?
You're only allowed to like things?
Yeah. Whew, I'd be screwed otherwise. But seriously, leave or put a follow, like, subscribe, all that, and please share this because you never know who might be an agent or a team leader or brokerage owner looking for a little bit of insight of the less glamorous side of running a real estate company, large or small. And our goal is to just kind of help people through it. All right, let's dive in. So welcome to the R&R Home Team Mega Team Challenge, where we attempt to build a mega team in 1 year. From scratch, by the way, and the average mega team takes 5 to 10 years to build. So yes, we are a little crazy. But to be honest, I'm not sure why we decided to do this other than
because we can.
Chris and I kind of just wanted to take a crack at seeing if we could help revive and revitalize and revamp, a bunch of re's in there. The current team structure. Let's see. I like you. Doesn't that count? It doesn't show who that is. So
that's all Facebook users. Every Facebook user in the world likes us. All of them. That's all of them. That's all Facebook users.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's got to be some kind of record or something. Yeah,
that's all Facebook users.
Facebook users out there. I just want to say
we can claim it.
I was getting emotional this morning. Whoever you are, Facebook user, thank you. I feel like I should say I like you back, but I don't know if I'm also being trolled. People like to troll me. So yeah, some of you might be wondering what the heck is a mega team, because not all brokerages have it, and some agents in some areas it's not a common term. So for us, we have very specific criteria. The first one is 10 capping agents. Second is 40 million in gross sales volume, and 3 is 175 transactions processed. If you want to know why we have that criteria, most of our first few weeks we go over it every single episode. So weeks 1 through 6. Pretty sure we stopped it last week, right? So we'll just say weeks 1 through 4. We define why we choose those numbers. So real quick, we're going to introduce the crazy but amazing team that wanted to tackle this vision, this challenge. First, we've got Chris Rains, co-team leader, designated lumberjack, and director of production. Second, we've got, I want a little clapping and crowd cheering,
Woo! You need to get a soundboard.
Right? Like make it like that. That'd be pretty
crowd.
funny.
Yeah.
I feel like we should do that, Chris. Let's add that to the docket today. Should we add a director of sound and production? Second, we've got the amazing Catherine Pulcinelli, who is the director of operations and Queen Fix-It. Third, we've got Walter Key, director of coaching and time management, aka Mr. Hawaiian Vibin. Now, that may not look like a Hawaiian shirt, but Walter has told me it is what, Walter?
It's a Tommy Bahama.
Tommy Bahama. And he said it doesn't get much more Hawaiian than that.
It is a very sleek and non-vibin Hawaiian shirt, so it counts.
Okay, I'm going to take your word on that, because I'm not a Hawaiian shirt expert, and you're the one that...
We'll let the audience decide. If Tommy Bahama doesn't qualify as Hawaiian shirts, let us know in the comments.
And then choose the song you want him to sing.
This one has that Charlie Sheen 2.5 Men vibe. That's what I see.
I mean, I bet you Charlie went to the Bahamas and all that pretty often, so... All right, let's move on. Fourth, we've got the amazing Irene Nunes. She is the director of transactions and the self-appointed cupcake coordinator. That's very important for you to know. Fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth, we have Carly Lane, Ash Murillo, Christian Santiago, Misa Sarmento, that basically combined, without them, we'd all crumble. And you have myself, Robert Bean. That's my name. Don't wear it out. That's what my dad used to say. I'm pretty sure that's what all dads used to say. So yeah, real quick for everyone watching right now, because there's 5 of you, and that's 4. Dang. Well, I was close. All 4. Oh, 5's back. Wow. Look at that. They were like, oh, no, I'm here. I'm sorry. It's like Chris. He just jolts out. Where are you watching from right now? Is it coffee shop in Florida? Are you in the Bahamas thinking about your first Tommy Bahama shirt and saying, should I get this or not? Where are you watching from right now? Definitely want to know. Love to see where everybody's at. I wish I was on the beach. All right. Now, while everybody's typing, I'm just going to assume they're typing. Let's get into...
You got somebody in Gallatin.
Hey, if you're in Gallatin, is Gallatin, is that Jason? I'm guessing who would be on and watch this. I'm guessing it's Jason. Let's see if I'm right. Oak Ridge.
I'm gonna guess that Scott Phillips is Scott Phillips in Nashville.
Okay. Scott Phillips. Oh, Sonny, you were my next guess. But I was like, what would he be doing in Gallatin this early? So you were my next
you were my first guess, just so you know.
But that's he saw your name.
No, that's because you're the only person I know in Gallatin.
All right, let's cover it. So guys, today what we kind of need to cover is the criteria for the buyer and listing appointment contests. Again, we talked about it, but I'm trying to pull up the whole thing. We talked about it, but we didn't really get into the details. Now, I don't think there's going to be a ton on this. I don't think it's a super complicated process, but I just think we need to make sure that we're tracking it appropriately. People know how long they have. I've got a couple suggestions on. I'm just trying to find where I just put my little outline for it. I have so many documents. It's like, whoa, calm down. But then I don't calm down. I just keep making more documents.
Have you made a tracker to track your trackers yet?
Yes, and the problem is that that tracker got so big that now I'm going to have to make a tracker to track my tracker's tracker. Ooh, I pulled that off. I wasn't sure where that was going to go. All right. Well, why don't you guys start talking about random things related to this while I try to find the document? That's where I added up.
So I'll say that I think we should backdate the contest start date to whenever we first said the words contest.
Wasn't that like last Friday?
Because if an agent heard the word contest and they're like, I'm in it, we don't want to cheat them out of anything they might have worked towards because we didn't have it exactly how we wanted it. So
totally agree.
We backdate the contest.
Don't wanna mislead them into thinking that we're trying to not honor that. So I completely agree. I'm gonna make a note of that right now. Note. What date do you guys? Does anybody remember? Well, it was at the team meeting.
I think it was last Monday then.
Yeah, so it was last Monday. Okay, so contest retroactive from 14th, Valentine's Day, of course.
Yeah, that's a good time to start it.
All right, cool.
Because we love real estate competitions.
And
that was a dad joke for sure.
Was it though? Was that even a dad joke? That was just a dad. There was no even joke. It was just dad.
Oh.
What's wrong with being just a dad?
Don't let it be mean to you.
Everyone liked it, Chris. Some of them just don't want to admit it on live.
Yeah.
That's all. Everybody liked it.
Love. All right. So my coach suggested that we make sure we actually keep them really small and we do bursts. He said it gives it helps with the burnout, because he said a big mistake that a lot of teams do is they'll like do it 3 months or 6 months. And it's just like you lose momentum and
they can't remember to do anything past a week, maybe 2. So
what he suggested was 30 days max. 30 days max, and then you do a week to 2 week break in between. Because people do need breaks. Like if they're working really hard and then they give themselves a break, they prep. And maybe within those 2 weeks, we're reviewing things and then trying to give them resources to get them ready for the next one. So that the next one's even better because we learned from the first one. At least that's kind of my suggestion. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I think that works.
So do you think a week
Definitely
or 2
don't
weeks?
want to run it so long that people lose steam and they no longer are interested. Keeping it short allows you to do multiple across the year too.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So do you guys think a week or 2 week break between the 30 minute?
I do 2 weeks.
I was going to say 2 weeks because I feel like a week is going to go by and that's going to be like the recoup. And then the next week will be like the prep.
The run up. Yeah.
And then boom, execute again. Because again, like, I've sat in with so many contests and they're like, oh, we're going to get to 100 transactions in 30 days or 90 days or 6 months even. I think it was like one of them I saw was like 6 months. And it's just like after 2 or 3 weeks, they were like, I don't care anymore. It's the reward is so far away that like you kind of lose that interest. You almost feel like it's unobtainable. But I feel like if we have realistic rewards, realistic goals, realistic time frames and just saying, listen, for the next 30 days, for this month, just focus on doing these things, right? And then take a break, recoup, recap, prep up, get them ready again. I feel like that's just a lot. I mean, the goal is to be a lot more favorable for them, to actually inspire them versus just talk their heads off, right? And be like, oh, you should be motivated. It's like, no, let's like actually help you. At least that's my thoughts. So we said 2-week break in between.
That'll keep the year very consistent too. If you run 4-week contest, 2-week break, 4-week contest, 2-week break over the course of a 12-month time frame, that lays out really well.
Awesome. 2-week break in between contests. And then we'll just say,
do I get to take a 2-week break as well? No.
You don't work for anybody. You check your schedule. You schedule your time.
4 weeks. I've been running with like a 3 or 4 weeks and then go to Florida for a week deal. And I like that 2-week idea. So like 4 weeks on, 2 weeks off. It's a good deal.
Listen,
I'm just in Florida all the time, so I'm basically on vacation.
Yeah.
The goal is to be able to build a business that runs without us.
Yeah.
I think
Don't
all
rub
of
it
us.
in, Walt. I don't appreciate it.
You're welcome to come here to Florida.
Walter, stop.
Walter has a half complete house you're welcome to stay at.
Yeah.
Which bedroom do you want? The one with no sheetrock, or
There's sheetrock on all of them now.
Oh, there's sheetrock on all of them now.
Yeah,
okay.
we got that.
Progress.
There's no toilets yet in the house because we're still working the bathrooms.
We don't need those.
There's a big backyard with lots of trees, though.
Outdoor plumbing, not a big deal.
You can walk into the lake, do whatever you need to do, and walk back out afterwards.
Never understood that process.
Wow, you guys, let's move on.
Let's keep this going. This is about that competition.
Okay, so we need to make sure that we're tracking because now we said we all agreed buyer and listing appointments. So that's or rather buyer appointments held, listing appointments held. Right. So now we need to define kind of the criteria. We all agree too. I think the winner would be whoever has the most. It's not set a number because quite honestly, we don't really know, especially some of the newer agents, their potential, right? We're still learning. And many of them have really just showed up and done some incredible things. So it's like, why limit them? So I think it's just whoever has the most, that makes it possible and kind of fair, and let someone have a full stretch of 30 days versus someone who had a really good week. And it's like, sweet, clock out, I'm good. It's like, no, it's a full 30 days. Because guess what? That's your business. It keeps running. It keeps moving forward. Yes.
If we're tracking it by appointments held, how are we supposed to know tangibly that those were held? Or are we going off of if they held, they should have signed an agreement with them?
Yeah. So I think that's what we need to talk about is how do we track the appointments held? I think there needs to be something written. I'm fine with the honor system, but I would also question if they're getting in front of them and having an appointment, what would be the reason for them to not walk out with an agreement? Now, I know that we have some varying degrees in how we approach this. I know that Chris is much more lax on things like that than I am. So I do want it to truly be a discussion. How do we feel confident about this to make sure that, one, we're encouraging them to build their business, build relationships, build the trust to where someone does want to sign the agreement, right? Because that is the goal. They need to be able to, if someone won't sign an agreement with them, the trust isn't there, or there's another problem going on. And so I don't want to overlook that, but I also don't want them to think that they have to walk into every appointment with the mindset, that person's going to sign paperwork. I don't believe in that mindset. I don't think that's why you should show up and talk to anybody. I don't even show up at the closing table thinking they're going to sign those papers. I go, I am here for them in this wonderful moment, and I'm going to help them through whatever happens today, whatever it is, because we have all seen the closing table go in disarray and things fall apart at the last second. Things are delayed. I mean, someone said they had a job and they didn't, and then they did a final review of employment. So great question, Catherine. I think that's part of the discussion is, and for anybody watching, how would you, if you were running a contest, or maybe you are an agent who would be involved in this contest, how would you want this to be tracked and verified? So go ahead, guys. If you have any suggestions or thoughts, open up.
Well, what if we had a contest channel in Slack, and when buyer appointments were booked or listing appointments were booked, they simply took a screenshot of their calendar showing what day and time the appointment was booked, and they posted it, so we would easily be able to track.
Have held though, because people don't show up for appointments. Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, I mean, it gives us a metric to look at to say, hey, how'd that go? Right? And they're like, yeah, I had to cancel that one. Then we know, but that might make it a little bit easier to track.
We could teach them to where they do the screenshot inside there, just like Walter said, and then after it's held, they have to go back to that same one and say. And like put reply in thread. I'll do a Loom video so everybody knows how to do it. But reply in thread and literally just write held.
Yeah. Or if they want to give us like a 10-second, how did it go? That's cool. But yeah, just a little nudge. Just, I had to cancel that one. Moved it to the next week. This one was held. Everything went well. And they might make for little nuggets of learning points too, as they have one. And then they go, man, I want to go ask a question about the follow-up because they asked me this and I wasn't quite sure what I was doing. Could work out really well. I mean, at the end of the day, I think everyone that's on the team is trustworthy enough to, if they said I held one, we're probably going to say, yep, I believe you.
And we've talked about that. We're nobody's parents, and we're not going to be able to, we have to work with people we trust, or we shouldn't work with them. I mean, I think that's the simple thing. So I agree. I don't think any type of tracking we do should be with just upholding the integrity of the contest, but not with the, did you really go?
I think it's more a way to spur the competition and let the other agents see, okay, well, I thought I was doing all right, but someone's ahead of me. Some of us are more competitive than others, and some won't care if somebody's winning. But others will be like, oh, you're not beating me. I'm going to go grind it out even more. And so it allows to have some friendly competition, and that pushes people forward.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now the agents know that I'm tracking the number of leads that they're talking to, and I've even had a few of them. One of them that was in second place was like, all right, wheels are turning. Contest time. I don't like to be outdone. So,
and I think it's funny because it's like the important thing here is that everything we're encouraging them to do is building their business, making them more money. And that is the hope. Irene says she starts pushing people when competitions get involved. She doesn't even know what she's like, I'm going to get tickets for what? I don't know. I just want them.
I think she means physically. Like when there's a 5K and the old lady is in front of her, she pushes her into the curb to win. She's ruthless.
Dang.
Or maybe that's
throws a cupcake in front of them.
Irene says exactly. All right. So dark secrets coming out through the light, guys. All right, so we agree. We do need to track it. So Slack channel, screenshot of booked appointment. Afterwards, they'll go back, reply in thread, and state held.
Yeah, that'll work.
All right, they can add more details. We're going to encourage that. I feel like I don't want to be over tedious. I would love a video recap. Here's how the appointment went, but I feel like
keep it simple.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Some agents will just want to document that it was held, and others might have a learning point. They might have a question, and that's fine, but keep it simple.
I think the important thing is that if they do give us feedback, we can help them make the next one go even better and even better and even better. Because there will be ones they hold that don't turn out the way they want. And the goal is that we have the information we need to be able to support them. So it'll be encouraged to leave review / bullet points of appointment. So as far as agreements go, where do we all stand on that? What's everybody's opinion on walking away with an agreement versus
I would be adamantly opposed to even saying the words agreement, because here's why. I don't want, and you guys can override this, right? I'm just the Hawaiian shirt guy. I don't want agents on the team, especially new agents, to feel like they have to walk away with a piece of paper signed, because that is detrimental to a quality relationship in some cases. And I don't want to put that burden on the agents.
Right. If it's forced, it'll kill the relationship.
It won't be right. So I wouldn't even put that as a stipulation. Go hold your buyer presentations. If you get something signed because they're comfortable, great, but the relationship is more important than the paperwork.
Agreed. Chris, Kat, Irene, what do you guys think?
I'm kind of with Walt. I mean, if we're saying we're going to track it by appointments, then we're tracking it by appointments. If we say we're going to track it by agreements, then we need to track it by agreements.
That's a good point too.
One thing that I do think we need to take into consideration, and just a heads up, the whole point of the competition, right, is to amp the agents up to get more contracts, to get more sales. My only thought is, just because I hold an appointment doesn't mean it's going to turn into a sale. Same thing with agreements, but an agreement signed is more likely to close with me than just an appointment. So just a little tidbit thought.
I see what you're saying. Let me see. Okay, so encourage agreements when appropriate, organic, never forced.
Yeah, I'm more along the Chris line on this one, and for better or worse, right or wrong, I've closed a lot of deals. And if you're a broker somewhere that I've worked with in the past, just put your fingers in your ears. I've closed a lot of deals where I didn't sign the buyer rep agreement until I sent them the contract to sign. They worked with me because they wanted to work with me, not because I put a piece of paper on file that said they had to. So the relationship will make the deal happen. Yes, absolutely, when it's appropriate, get the paperwork on file, but don't go into the meeting thinking you need the paperwork, because you're going to focus on the wrong things, which is going to keep you from getting people to do business with you.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
The other thing that I like about our current situation, if you do not do paperwork, meaning that they have to work with you, is that at any point in time you can refer them out without having to sign a release of paperwork. So even if another team member might better serve them, or somebody in another area might better serve them, you're not having to do a release of paperwork for them to do that person, to send this referral over, and it creates a different dynamic. The other thing is, if you sign paperwork to work with someone and then you realize that you don't like them, then you have to do paperwork to release them and have your broker sign off because you don't like them. Like if there's somebody I don't want to work with, I like the opportunity of being able to not work with them.
All right, so I'm trying to follow along. I mean, because I do think that it is a good habit.
I'm not saying it's not a good habit, but I'm with Walt. I've done a lot of deals, and I pass my buyer's broker agreement over whenever we're doing documents.
Right.
So we do it all at the same time.
Yeah.
That's the way I've been running it for the last 3 years.
I think I'm more in line with that too.
Yeah.
I've had literally one definite situation I could have avoided if I had done documents early. Out of the 45 deals I did last year, it doesn't really bother me.
Yeah. I think the Facebook user comment there hits it on the head too. They said, I found buyers need to fill out the relationship prior to signing the contract. They don't know me well enough after just one visit. Spot on. And you could say, have a great meeting, build a relationship, put some follow-up in place. And then when they're like, okay, I found 123 Main Street, let's go shop. Okay, now it's a great conversation to say, well, listen, before I walk you into a stranger's house, we need to put some paperwork on file just so we're both covered. Do it then, because now they've already established at this point they trust you enough to let you walk them into a house. Now it's probably about
I did ride an off-road Main Street this weekend. To be fair,
I think the big thing I just want to make sure of is that we're giving, especially for new agents, some parameters at least, or some guidelines to approaching this, because it was not really taught to me. Again, it was not something. There's so many things, and this is not dogging any brokerage, but there are just so many things, no matter where I went, that they weren't really taught basic principles. When do you get a buyer's rep agreement? Almost everywhere says, and maybe it's like a legal thing, right off the bat. Like, and if they won't sign it, they're untrustworthy and they're the problem. And I don't believe in that attitude. But what I do believe in is that there is a time to get it signed. There are scenarios where, we had an agent on the team with an out of state, and the listing agent's mom was going to show for that agent because the agent was out of state at the time of the showing. Listen, a lot of buyers aren't taught the importance of their relationship with their agent either. They do think that it's a very simple, whimsical, like, no big deal, I'll leave it behind, especially with builders. It's really important that they know that they have that relationship established, sometimes going to builders, because builders will sometimes manipulate it and try to take their commission out because they're like, well, you didn't bring them initially, and they walked into the model loan, therefore we don't pay a commission. Now, I think in Tennessee, that's actually illegal. You can't make a stipulation that someone can do that. I don't know, though, because so everybody listening, I'm not a broker. Don't take my advice. I'm not a lawyer. But all I know is that I don't want agents to go and put in this work, and maybe it's not the buyers that screw them over. Maybe it's the other party, because we see that a lot. There are big builders who are doing that right now. It's a great example because why new construction is one of the quickest ways to get a home under contract right now. So that's my main concerns. We give them a guideline.
From my understanding, though, it's the buyers agreeing to pay on the buyer's designated agency agreement. It's the buyers agreeing to pay a commission, and the builders can be offering one, but sometimes they're selling stuff that's not even on the MLS. So at that point, if there's nothing being offered out in space, then the builders don't have to offer anything, as far as I know.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about I've literally seen things in the MLS that says, if buyer's agreement wasn't signed prior, if agent wasn't the first one to bring them in,
Right.
we're not paying commission, or commission gets cut in half. It's really, really poor practice. It's just looking for opportunities.
I'm not saying it's not poor practice. I think it's terrible practice, but
I know it'd be a lot more respectable if they passed on the savings to the buyer. So at least the buyer was actually
they're not going to do that. That would hurt their comps.
I know it would, but that would be the more integrity move is, hey, we're not going to do this thing. So in turn, we're going to give it back to you in some form, but they don't.
Yeah. So with that said, even having a conversation about it. So most everything that you've hit on can be taken care of in a conversation. I'm not saying don't do the document, but I'm saying most everything you just said could be hashed out in a conversation with your buyers. You can say, hey, if you're planning to go to new construction, I'm going to need to go with you, at least on your first visit. Like, you can let them know all those things. And our buyers designated agency agreements don't even dial those in anyways.
So then let me ask you this.
That's a conversation.
Would you be willing to do a video training on, and I can jump in with you. I bet you Walt will jump in with you, Catherine, if you have time, but let's do some scenarios, give some examples of exactly what you're saying so that they have something to reference and kind of get their brains thinking and considering, so that when they're making decisions, they're making ones they reasoned through versus reactive decisions.
Yeah.
That
Or
sounds
just
like
I
a
think
great.
that's all I want.
or
That
just
sounds like a great Chris Raines production tip video coming next week.
That's what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was
that sounds
thinking.
like.
I think you nailed it, Chris. I think.
Dun dun dun. Sorry, I was too quiet over here. So
Soundtrack by Catherine. So Chris, I would love that because I think that would be a great I think that would be a great video to do, where you're basically just going it out and kind of giving them some scenarios, things to help them reason through situations. And you say, you do what you feel is best because it is your business. But I'm just giving
every
you some
situation's
scenarios.
different.
Yeah.
I hate blanket ideas for these situations because there's a lot of people that are just scared of things. So
All right. So I'm gonna just put that you're gonna do a training video of scenarios, some scenarios to talk about, basically talking around buyer's rep agreement, how to have this conversation, some other scenarios, and then reminding them it's your business and you do what you feel is best. This is merely here to help you consider some options and reason through what you feel is best. I like that, and that's what I really wanted us to be able to do was that. So I think that's solid. Anything else that we want to cover for
I think that's pretty solid for the competition. Let's get this thing going. I'm excited to see how it comes together.
I think so too. I think if we could all make an intentional, if we can, this is again, if it comes up, let's see if we can make our tips of the weeks focused around things that will give them some support around the competition, so that as we're contributing them, we're not pulling them away from the focus, we're adding to the focus. Walter, I know you've got amazing ways that you do tips on how you might get listings. You might have your own way you do buyer's appointment. Maybe we all do our version of how we do a buyer's appointment. The thing is that we don't really dictate how someone has an appointment. Every team that I've seen, they try to make you practice a script. You walk in and you do X, Y, and Z, and you walk out with the paperwork. Well, almost everybody on those teams I've outsold. And I think part of it is because I walk in saying there are things I want to cover. There are things I want to do, but I'm going to let there be room to serve the people in front of me, not say, I'm here to take from you. You're going to follow me and my guideline. We don't, like the comment, we don't have that relationship yet. We don't. I even do that with clients who know me. I still don't walk in and try to force them. I start having a nice organic conversation. And then if, like, especially for listings, if it starts to feel like, oh yeah, they're with me, we're on the same page, we're good, great. Let's get this agreement knocked out so I can get to work. Because I can't really, I'm not going to schedule photos without an agreement, listing agreement. I'm not going to do those things. I'm not going to pay money. But I always feel it out. And sometimes it's the first time. Sometimes I need to follow back up with them. I need to go meet the spouse who wasn't able to make it. Like those types of things. So yeah, I think if we could keep our tips of the week around buyer, and let's make it focus, right? Buyer appointments. Maybe Catherine, you help agents with maybe some of how they organize and approach or prepare for these, right? Because we want them to have what they need, the tools that they need to be equipped to do these things. Walter and Chris, you guys are already talking about scenarios and how you approach that. Irene, I really don't know what your part would be because you're literally after after they go under contract. So, I don't know, but you're really smart and you're really awesome. So if you've got stuff to insert, let me know. Yeah, by all means. But you guys think that's fair? But having our tips of the weeks, if we can. Again, if we can't, don't force it because we don't want to give useless information. But tips of the week around the contest, useful tools for the contest. Good? Yeah.
good.
Okay.
yeah, I can also, one nice thing about the contest is I can also see the number of leads that they are indeed processing through. So that I can kind of compare the number of leads on average to the number of appointments being set and have a general idea as to what's working, what's not. And if
Sweet.
there's any large variations in that, then we can look and say, all right, what is this person doing instead of this person, and start trying to figure out exactly what that situation looks like, because there shouldn't be large swings if everybody's doing the same processes.
I mean, I definitely agree. So, so with that, thank you, Catherine, for the 5-minute warning. With that being said, let's see. I just had that up. So let's real quick talk about what we want to cover then in the team meeting. In a very short period of time. Let's knock that out. So, Catherine and Irene, you guys have some stuff, correct, that you need to go over in the team meeting?
Yes, I think we're going to have Irene go back through the submission form just to kind of walk agents through it a little bit and explain sky slope.
Okay. Sky slope. And so with sky slope, we're literally, that is just going to be emphasizing that they do not put anything in the sky slope, correct?
Correct.
So it's not some long training. It's just
No, that's just going to
an
be added in with it.
emphasis. Okay. Just making sure so I can budget for time. So tracker submission form plus sky slope best practices, basically. Cool. Then let's talk about the contest kind of updates and just say, hey, here's some things we're going to be doing. We're going to outline the criteria. Chris, would you want to do that? I know I do most of the talking, so I'm trying to do better about having someone
outline the sky slope.
Well, I was going to say the contest. I'll share the document
Well,
with you right now so that you actually have something you can literally read. I'm trying to be better about not doing all the talking. I'm sure the agents are tired of listening to me. I'm tired of listening to me. Okay.
I'm just not very good at listening. Doesn't matter who's talking.
Waltz, you good with the recap for this or whatever? Week 4. Week 4. Okay. I'm just trying to see if we have anything else to cover. One thing we didn't do today is we did not cover our beta reports. We're trying to figure all this out, right? Timing. I don't want us to always run over.
Can we push it for Friday then?
Yeah, let's try and do that. What I'll see if I can do is if you all could just, when you get a second, go into the trackers and forums, and if everything's updated on your end, just say updated. If Misa's updated the things that you suggested or not. Actually, I'm going to go back and take a look at the reports that were done and review everything. So ignore what I just said. Yeah, I know. I know we have numbers for that top right corner. We just don't know what they are. Okay, cool. Let's see. So right now we just have tracker submission form and sky slope best practices. And so is that Irene? Irene, you're going to do that? I think. Assuming you're typing, which I mean, yes.
What was the question again? You cut out, Robert.
The tracker submission form and the sky slope best practices.
Oh, okay.
Yep, she said yes. Chris, you're going to do the contest criteria. Walter, you're going to do the recap. And Catherine, is there anything you would like to go over, mention, or anything like that?
We'll kind of see how time goes.
Okay.
If there's time and people have some random questions regarding different ways they can handle things, maybe we'll jump into some of that. If not, I'll sit in the back seat.
Sweet. All right, guys. Well, thank you to everybody who was watching. Thank you so much. Seriously, so glad to have you guys here. Bunch of comments. It was great to have some great insight from some people, see where everybody was tuning in from. Truly. We go live every Monday and Friday. I can't believe we're still doing this. Like, wow, we have a long ways to go too. So seriously, thanks for your resilience, guys, because I'm pretty sure we're like the only ones who do this, which is kind of the point. And I honestly, I'm
pretty sure we're the only business ever that does this.
I'm really excited to see what our conversations will look like in 6 months. I really am. I mean, after seeing what we've done in 8 weeks and how much we've progressed and grown, and there's still so much we want to do. Like, I'm really excited what we're going to look like in August. What are we going to be talking about? What are the numbers going to look like? What are our?
I'm gonna have to buy some new Hawaiian shirts just to keep it fresh.
You should have one for every week of the year.
That's a lot of shirts.
That's
well, technically we have 2 meetings.
So my new closets aren't actually built yet, so I'm a little limited on space. So I'll buy them as we go.
Just hang them on the trees outside.
There are plenty of those.
Yeah. All right, everybody. So every Monday and Friday, we go live showing you the raw, real side of building and running a mega team. And as you can see, it's not glamorous, but the rewards are there. And especially when you have good people around. So we would love for you to be some of those good people, and we'd love to be good people around you. So feel free to tune in, like, follow, subscribe, share. You never know who could use some of this information. Leave some feedback, comments, suggestions. We're always open to growing and learning, and we're always open to sharing more. So thank you again. Thanks, leadership team, and I will see you at the team meeting very soon.
Bye.